He's a born leader. You know, I got a problem with that statement. I've never liked it. There's no such thing as born leaders. The only thing that's born is babies. We hear in sports all the time, coaches tell athletes, hey, be leaders out there. You senior captains, be leaders out there. Hey, point guard or my quarterback, or lead this team, right? And coaches know leadership is important. They want leadership on their team. The problem is many times they don't know how to teach leadership. Leadership needs to be taught. The mechanics, the physics of it, how do you do it? Just like we teach the mechanics and physics of executing your sport, your footwork, your throwing motion, your shooting motion, whatever your sport is. We need to teach the execution, the mechanics, the physics of leadership. Because there are no born leaders. They're only made and they're only developed. So we need to learn how to develop. And that's the goal of this video, is to teach you what leadership is, why it's important, and how to go about doing it, okay? What's cool about you becoming a leader is it's your chance to influence other people and to create an outcome that lasts after you're gone. If you can help other people get better, if you can help your team get better, you're making a difference at a high level, people will remember you after you're gone. And that's a really cool legacy that you can leave on your sport. Let's talk about leadership. What is it? What is it? It's many things. It's influence. It's having a vision. It's energizing people. It's taking people on a journey, having a goal and taking people with you on a journey, equipping them and energizing them and getting them into productive action. That's what leadership is. But it's hard to do. So why is it important? Well, it's important because you need to understand that the success of your team or organization will never surpass the level of its leadership. Okay? I say, if you want championship level performance, you better have championship level leadership on your team. If you want to achieve at a level 10 in your results, you better be leading at a level 10, right? Because your success will never surpass the level of your leadership. If your leadership is here, your success is going to be here. If you can raise the lid on your leadership, you'll be able to raise the lid on your results. Okay, so leadership is extremely, extremely important. Everything rises and falls on leadership. But in order to have something, success, individual success, team success, in order to have something you never had before, you need to become someone that you've never been before. You need to transform from the inside. It's kind of an inside-out job is what it is. So I'm going to talk to you and equip you in this video on how to be a leader. So I talk about the 4 C's of leadership. I learned this from Dr. John Maxwell, huge fan of the Maxwell organization. I actually have some certifications and I've partnered with that organization, probably the world's leading leadership organization. John Maxwell talks about the 5 levels of leadership. And I kind of took that and created my own. I call it the 4 C's of leadership. But I want you to understand that each one of these C's that I'm going to talk about is like a rung on a ladder. Okay? And if you want to climb higher and higher in leadership, then you need to learn these skills. The first C stands for character. Character in leadership is critical. It's critical, okay? Because understand that as an athlete, as a team leader, your team does not have to follow you, okay? You do not have authority over them. You can't kick them off the team. You can't make them run laps. You can't punish them. You cannot hold them accountable to the level that a coach can. So because you don't have authority or power over them, you're relying simply on influence. And it's really important that people trust you if they're going to follow you. If they don't trust you, if you're not a person of character, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're trying to lead me, and if you don't have character, I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, you have 0 opportunity to lead me. Your potential as a leader is done, okay? You cannot progress to higher levels of leadership if you don't have character. So the first thing you need to do is you need to be a person of character. You need to be a person of high trust. Trust is earned over time. Leadership is not a position given. Many people think that just because they're in a leadership position, that people will follow them. And that's not the case. A lot of people get elevated to a leadership position because of the skills they possess, the job skills, in the case of athletes, the talent that they have, the athletic skills that they have to get elevated into a leader position. But that doesn't make you a leader, okay? It gives you some credibility, but you need to know how to lead. It's critical. So starts with trust, okay? You've got to build trust, and that takes time, okay? Think of earning trust as a bank account. Putting money in a bank account and saving money over time. It takes time to accumulate that. Well, the same thing with trust. You deposit trust on a daily basis with people by your actions. And it takes a long time to build trust with people, and it can be ruined in one day. So just know that trust is earned over time. It takes time, but it can be lost in one day. So you have to work hard every day at earning people's trust. And think of trust as the foundation of leadership. Okay, if you're going to build a big building, you need to start with a big foundation. The higher the building, if you're building a skyscraper, a real tall building into the sky, then you need to go way down into the ground and establish a deeper foundation. So the higher level of leadership you want to go, the deeper the foundation needs to be. And that foundation is trust and character. Okay, let's talk about the next C. We're going to spend some real time on this. The next C is connection. Once I trust you and see that you have character, then the next step is you need to connect with me. You need to take time to get to know me. And this is something that requires skill and intentionality. So it's important that you take the time to get to know your teammates so that, number one, you know how to communicate with them. If you don't take time to get to know them, then how are you going to know how they like to be communicated with? What's important to them? What type of personality are they? Can you talk directly to them? Are they tough-skinned, or do you need to kind of sugarcoat things and put a lot of love sprinkles on it? You got to take time to get to know them. And there's some skills that I'm going to teach you on how to get to know people so that you can connect with them. Once you connect with them, then they'll like you. And when they like you, they'll trust you a little further, and you're climbing that leadership ladder. Okay, so how do we connect with people? I use an acronym called FORD, like the car, F-O-R-D. And what FORD stands for is family, other activities, recreation, dreams and desires. Okay, now for adults, it stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams and desires. But because you don't have an occupation, it's other activities. So let me give you an example. You know that connecting with your teammates is important, so you've got to take the time during the preseason, during the season, while you're having meals, to try to get to know each and every teammate on your team. Well, how do you do that? We follow the acronym FORD. You walk up to them and you sit down and you introduce yourself and say, hey, I wanted to take a few minutes and get to know you. I feel like I don't know you very well. You might ask a question. So tell me, where are you from? What does mom and dad do? And you just ask questions about their dad's job or their mom's job, how long they've been doing it, when they moved, where they came from, how long they've been here, why'd they move here? Do you have brothers and sisters? What do they do? Are they athletes? Does your younger brother play football or basketball or whatever sport you're involved in? You're asking questions about their family, right? And really getting to know them. And then you say, so tell me, what other sports are you involved in? And they might say, oh, I play baseball, or I wrestle, or I run track. Really? Tell me about that. Which do you like better? The sport we're in together, or track, or baseball, or whatever that other sport is. And you're just asking questions. What do you like about it? Why? I never understood this. Explain this to me. And you're just asking questions about that sport. Okay? It's easy to do once you kind of learn this skill. Next is R. That stands for recreation. This So now we're going outside of other activities and sports to their personal time away from school. So when you're not involved in sports, what do you like to do? Or, what's up? Say it in your own words. So when you're outside of school or outside of sport, what do you like to do? You're into video games, hunting and fishing, what's up? What do you like to do? How do you like to hang out, right? And you're just asking them questions. You might ask them about TV programs they watch or their favorite movies or whatever it is, but it's recreation. So to ask questions and stay in a place of curiosity. I tell kids this, pretend you have 10 minutes, you're gonna write a research paper on this person, you got 10 minutes to get to know them, okay? You're the one asking the questions. It's not about you, it's about them. So stay in a place of curiosity as you ask these questions. D stands for dreams and desires. So tell me, what do you want to do after school? What do you want to do with your life? Do you plan on going to college? What college? Why? Where? What career do they think they want to have? What are their dreams for life, right? So you're just asking these questions in your own way. It's sincere, it's authentic, and when you finish that conversation, you might say, listen, I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I can't wait for this season. I'm proud to have you as a teammate. If you need anything at all throughout the season, I want you to call me. Here's my phone number. Hit me up if you need something, okay? You're going to walk away from that conversation. How do you think they're going to feel about you? They're going to really like you. As soon as you walk away, their self-talk is, man, no one's ever done that to me before. I really like that guy. He took time to get to know me, or gal. So get good at this. Be intentional about it. This is a skill that you can develop with not too much difficulty. It's going to take some practice. But believe me, you can get good at this. And it's a great way to connect with your teammates and build a deeper relationship so that they'll want to follow you even more. Okay, so now they trust you. You have character. You've connected with them. You know how to communicate with them, and you know something about them. They like you now, so you're advancing on the leadership ladder. The next C is competency. Now, competency comes when they see you making plays on practice field, on the court, in games. They see you executing and making plays. Now you're displaying your competency. People believe what they see more than they believe what they hear. So they may hear you say things, but when they see you in action, demonstrating the leadership skills and abilities that you're trying to get them to do, then you're elevating even further in your leadership journey. Competency, really important. Now, hey, if you don't have competency yet, you can still lead, but your leadership journey may end at this level until you develop competency in your craft. Okay, the final stage of leadership. How do we get to the top level of leadership? And this is a difficult one to do. It really requires some skill, but you can do it. It's the fourth C, and it stands for construction. Now, what do I mean by construction? What's that mean? Construction is when we build things. So in this case, we're building other people. We're helping other people get better. You're helping your teammates get better. How do you do that? Lots of ways you can do that. But the easiest way is to spend time with them. When I was growing up, I played all sports, but I particularly loved football. And I was a quarterback, and I'd get up in the morning throughout the summer, and the first thing I'd do is I'd get on the phone and I'd invite my buddies to come up to the high school and run routes for me so that they could get better and I could get better as well. I was spending time with them. Sometimes it's as simple as that. But think about the ways you can spend time with people. You can as a leader, you should show up early for practice so you can do some drills with your teammates. You can hold if you're in football, you can hold for the kicker. You can take snaps from the long snapper. You can catch for the punters. You can throw routes to the receivers. You can run routes for the quarterback. Whatever it is, you can spend time with that person getting better. Apply it to any other sport. I don't care. Pitch to somebody in batting practice. Take ground balls for them, or hit ground balls to them if it's baseball or softball. Okay? You get my point. Look for opportunities to help other people get better. Spend time before practice, after practice, and away from your sport with that person so that they can get better. What's another way you can help people? Well, you can be an energizer. Leaders fill people up with positive energy. Think about for a minute, think about a car, an automobile. We need to put gas in the engine for the automobile to travel long distances, right? For the automobile to be able to climb mountains, right? Well, we need gas in our tank too in order to execute and go distances and to climb mountains of adversity and challenges that we'll face in sport. But our gas is called positive emotion. We need positive energy or positive emotion, and that's going to come from you, the leader. So what do you do? How do you do that? How do you energize other people? Well, the easiest way is you become a noticer of effort. We know as athletes that results come from positive actions, right? So when you see people putting forth positive actions, positive effort, you need to acknowledge that. You need to be a noticer of effort. And you need to acknowledge people publicly in front of other people when you're acknowledging the behaviors that lead to the results. Too often in sports, I see kids who are trying to lead only acknowledge results. Coaches do it too, unfortunately. It's what our society has taught us. And it's not a good thing, okay? It's not a good thing. What's important is that we acknowledge effort, because the efforts will lead to the results that we're looking for if it's consistent. So be a master at noticing efforts of other people. Acknowledge those efforts. Tell your teammates that you see the efforts that they're putting forth. Acknowledge it immediately. Give them what I call, if you want to correct them and coach them, do it with what I call a coaching sandwich. Think about a sandwich. A sandwich has 2 outer layers of bread and an inner layer of substance called meat. Well, the coaching point is the substance, it's the meat, but the 2 outer layers are soft substances, and we need to start there. So when you coach somebody, start with something soft. Acknowledge their effort. Hey, Johnny, hey, I noticed that route you just ran, you displayed tremendous effort. Okay, great hustle. Okay, next time, continue to keep your hands moving as you go into your cut, and don't turn your head so quickly so that you can create better separation from that receiver. Okay, keep up the great work. I'm really proud to have you as my teammate. Okay, what did I just do? I gave him an outer layer of softness by acknowledging his effort and what he's doing good. I gave him the coaching point, and I followed it up by something positive as well. Let him know that he's doing a great job. I notice his effort, and I'm proud to have him as my teammate. Simple. Okay, now his defense mechanism goes down. He's listening to the coaching point. He's more coachable when you do that. And again, you're continuing to build trust and likability with this teammate. Okay, so that's leadership, guys, and that's how you do it. You got to do it on a consistent basis. You have to be intentional about it. And I wrote a book called The Winning Edge Way: An Athlete and Coach's Guide to Being a 3-Dimensional Competitor. I highly recommend you read this book. Just go to 3dcompetitor.com and get yourself a copy, and make sure you read this thing, because I talk about how to be a 3-dimensional competitor. What does that mean? Well, it's one who has strategies and skills to make themselves better, to make others or their teammates better, and how to make the game better as well. That's right, there are skills and strategies that you can actually leave the game in a better place than where you found it. And I teach you how to do all that stuff in my book. So go to 3dcompetitor.com, make sure you get a copy of that book and start reading it. Everything I just talked to you right now is in this book, in the leadership section, but there's so much more. I mean, I just scratched the surface by what I covered in this video. So, lead. It's important to your success. It's important to your team's success. There's no born leaders. Okay, it starts with you, but you got to know how to execute it. And I just gave you some strategies that I hope you find helpful. Thanks for watching this video. Connect with me if there's anything that I can do to help you.